So today I'm going to be going over the notes for the Global History midterm for, I think it's pretty much the same for honors and regents, but this is done from an honors perspective, so I don't know if that changes anything or not, but so yeah, I'm going to be going over right now the notes on absolutism and, the Age of Enlightenment and the Scientific Revolution, I think, and I'm going to be doing it in question and answer format. So if you want to go along, let's begin. So let's start out with absolutism. So define absolutism. Monarchy of rulers in Europe had complete authority over functions of government. What absolutist dynasty ruled in Spain? Habsburg. Who was the grandson of Ferdinand and Isabella? Charles V. Where did Charles V rule? Spain and the Holy Roman Empire. Who succeeded Charles V? Philip II. Describe Philip II. He was a divine right ruler, and he ruled in the Golden Age. What did Philip II lose? The Spanish Armada. What dynasty ruled in France? The Bourbon dynasty. Name 3 Bourbon rulers. They're absolutists in the early ages, if that makes sense. So Henry IV, Louis XIII, and Louis XIV. Who was Louis XIII's advisor? Cardinal Richelieu. I'm not sure if I said that right, but whatevs. Okay, so what did Henry IV and Louis XIII accomplish? So they expanded the king's power over nobles by creating a strong army and bureaucracy. What treaty did Louis XIII enact? Edict of Knowles. It's pronounced and it's spelled N-O-U-T-E-S. So Edict of Nantes, I think is how you say it. Yeah. So what did the Edict of Nantes do? It ended religious conflict in France by letting Protestants worship freely. What did Louis XIII call himself? Wait, the 13th? I think I meant Louis XIV. Yeah. Louis XIV called himself the Sun King. What else did Louis XIV accomplish? So he built the Palace of Versailles and expanded France with wars. What absolutist dynasty ruled in Russia? Romanov. Name 2 absolutist rulers in the Romanov dynasty in Russia. Ivan the Terrible and Peter the Great. What did Ivan the Terrible do? He became the first Tsar and overthrew the Mongols. First Tsar overthrew Mongols. So describe Ivan the Great. Describe Peter the Great. Yeah, Ivan the Terrible. Sorry, that's why I got confused. So describe Peter the Great. Yes, Peter the Great. So he ruled at the pinnacle of Russia, and he was an absolute monarch. He westernized and modernized Russia, and he created an empire. What is constitutionalism? Limited government. Name 2 Tudor monarchs. Henry VIII and Elizabeth I. So describe the Tudor monarchs. Describe them. So they ruled as absolute monarchs by respecting Parliament. So they tried to talk nicely to Parliament so that they would get what they wanted using diplomacy. So name 4 Stuart monarchs. James I, Charles I, Charles II, and James II. Describe the Stuart monarchs. So they were Catholic, and they claimed divine right, and they abolished Parliament. What ended the rule of Charles I? So there's the English Civil War and the Puritan Revolution. Who fought in the English Civil War? The Cavaliers, who were monarchists, versus the Roundheads, who were Puritans. Who led the Puritans? Oliver Cromwell. What government did Cromwell form? He formed the English Commonwealth, which was a republic. Describe what happened in the English Commonwealth. Cromwell became a dictator and he ruled harshly. What's it called when Parliament asked the Stuart family to go back? The Restoration. What happened to the Stuart monarchs? They returned to the Absolutism and Roman Catholicism. What ended the rule of James I? The Glorious Revolution. What was the Glorious Revolution? A bloodless coup d'etat of James II. What dynasty replaced the Stuarts? The Hanoverian dynasty. What started the Hanoverian dynasty? Who started the Hanoverian dynasty? William and Mary of the Netherlands. What did William and Mary accomplish? They signed the English Bill of Rights, which created a limited monarchy, and it also created habeas corpus. What is habeas corpus? Due process rights, like the right to silence, fair trial, and to face your accuser. Describe, in a very general way, the scientific revolution. New technology and improved methods of research led to an explosion of knowledge. What are 5 causes of the scientific revolution? 1. Medieval universities spread education. 2. Rebirth of learning / questioning spirit because of the Renaissance. 3. Development of the technology from exploration. 4. Protestants' tolerance towards the scientific research. So basically, it wasn't that they were really tolerant, it was that they didn't have as much control as the Catholic Church did, and like the creation of Protestantism lowered the power of the Catholic Church, so religion didn't have as much of a force to suppress science. That's really what they meant by that. So anyway, number 5 is the development of the modern scientific method. Describe the improvements made to the scientific method. So there are experiments and observations, reason is used to interpret results of experiments, and mathematical formulas were used to prove scientific theories. Describe theological reasoning. So it stressed obedience to authority and acceptance of the existing order of things. Describe scientific reasoning. Emphasized deduction, logic, and experimentation, and traditional authority was no longer enough to prove the truth of proposition. Name the main figures of the scientific revolution. Kepler, Galileo, and Newton. What theory did Copernicus develop? The heliocentric theory. What is the heliocentric theory? That the sun is the center of the universe. What is the impact of the heliocentric theory? It created questions about religious explanations. What did Kepler say? That in a sun-centered universe, planets obey natural laws. What is the impact of Kepler? He laid the foundation for modern astronomy. What did Galileo do? He improved the telescope and produced evidence to support the claims of Copernicus. What persecution did Galileo face? The Catholic Church tried him for heresy and forced him to recant his views. What did Newton accomplish? He developed the laws of gravity through mathematical formulas. What is the impact of Newton's work? He helped develop a new view of the universe, that it was huge but well regulated by the laws of nature. What are the results of the scientific revolution? Number 1, science and traditional religion are now seen by many as incompatible. 2, the scientific method replaced reliance on established authorities. Number 3, made possible the Industrial Revolution. And number 4, Western Europe increased power compared to other cultures. What is the Enlightenment? An intellectual movement in the late 1600s and 1700s which began a search for the natural laws that govern man's existence. How are the writers of the Enlightenment similar to the thinkers of the scientific revolution? So they both use the scientific method to observe and investigate problems within society. They challenged traditional authority, and they called for the use of reason to improve society. What ideas did Enlightenment thinkers propose? Democracy and laissez-faire capitalism. What are thinkers of the Enlightenment called? Philosophers. What is democracy? Rule by the people. What is laissez-faire capitalism? An economic system in which the government has little control. Who came up with the idea of laissez-faire capitalism? Adam Smith. What did Adam Smith write? Wealth of Nations. What are some beliefs of the Wealth of Nations? Free enterprise, profit motivation, and the laws of supply and demand. What did laissez-faire capitalism conflict with? Mercantilism. Who developed mercantilism? Colbert, who was chief financial minister for Louis XIV. What are some beliefs of mercantilism? So a country's wealth exists for the benefit of the state. A government should assist the economy in developing. and colonies exist to benefit the mother country. They provide cheap natural resources, and they act as a closed market for goods. Who are some leaders of the Enlightenment? John Locke, Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu. What did John Locke write? The two treatises on government. What did John Locke believe? People have natural rights to life, liberty, and property, and people consent for the government to rule, and they can choose for the government not to rule if they want to. So, what did Voltaire write? Letters on the English. What did Voltaire believe in? Limited monarchy and freedom of speech, press, and religion. What did Rousseau write? The social contract. What is a social contract? The idea that people agreed to let the king rule properly and could break the contract through rebellion. So, what did Rousseau believe? The government should be based on the will of the majority while protecting the rights of the minority. What did Montesquieu write? The spirit of laws. What did Montesquieu believe? That the government should have three branches. So there's the executive, judicial, and legislative. You can see this in America. So what are the characteristics of the Enlightenment? Optimism. Politics and business disassociate themselves from religion. Religion becomes less important, so religious minorities can be tolerated. There is a rise of liberalism. It puts absolutism on the defensive, and Enlightenment despots arrived in Eastern Europe. So, who are the enlightened despots of Eastern Europe? There's Catherine the Great of Russia, Frederick the Great of Prussia, Maria Theresa of Austria, and Joseph II of Austria. So, that was a pretty short video, so that's all we need to know for this section. I'm going to be doing some more videos once we get through the entire thing that we've got. So, I hope this helps you study. Bye!